signal caller? I don't know. I would have question marks with that.
The Eagles should consider benching Jalen Hurts.
I'll never say he's going to make a Pro Bowl because I doubt he will.
Give your 3 first-round picks to Seattle, go get Russell Wilson, and go compete for championships.
The Philadelphia Eagles are going to ruin Jalen Hurts. He just can't throw the football well enough to be a long-term solution.
It's a perfectly thrown ball by Jalen Hurts. These balls are on time. For them. They hit their guide stride. Hurts, they hit the
Yeah.
He delivers. Perfectly thrown to AJ.
Yeah.
First, I always say Henry Bowers run fast. I ain't hungry. I'm starving for this.
So when you watch
Oh, y'all thought I wasn't going to say nothing?
struggles on the deep ball. Hurts.
Y'all thought we wasn't going to come in here and turn up?
I don't think Jalen Hurts could be your future in Philadelphia.
Hey, listen.
You know you're not going nowhere with
I'm not really want to come out here and beat my chest when things go the way that I think they should go, but
Tough time.
Can he
wait a minute.
to the championship? I don't believe he can.
The Philadelphia Eagles are going back to the Super Bowl.
Attention, air traffic control. A flock of eagles is headed
Ladies and
into
gentlemen.
Arizona.
I'd like to introduce you to the first ever Soul Bowl.
Can't say that I'm smiling until the job is finished. I always been on a mission.
I'd like to welcome you to the first ever. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Talk Spicy. I'm Coach Gene Clemens. Thank you for joining me wherever you are joining me. Rate the show, comment, agree, disagree, but whatever you do, keep it spicy. 5-star ratings are appreciated. If you're joining me on the YouTube channel, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe. It's up. It's up for all of you out there. All of you guys out there who sat around talking about, oh, Jalen Hurts ain't this. Jalen Hurts ain't that. Jalen Hurts ain't no starting quarterback in the league. Jalen Hurts can't do this. Jalen Hurts can't do that. Jalen Hurts isn't capable of. Oh, well, you know, he's really more of a running back than he is a quarterback. All of the ridiculous, dumbass, cliche stuff that you say on a regular basis anytime you are talking about a black quarterback with some level of athleticism. Oh, can he make the necessary throws? Can he progress through the pocket? All of the ridiculousness that you always put on black quarterbacks with a little bit of athleticism. It's the diss that you had for Lamar Jackson. It's how you downgraded him. It's how you continue to downgrade Jalen Hurts. And yet, at every single turn, Jalen Hurts just continued to show you that it is different. It started with one of, or not one of, it started in Alabama, where this man came in as a true freshman and took the Tide to the brink of a championship. It started there. Then the next year, they lost the quarterback. I mean, they lost their coordinator. He left because Nick Saban decided the power struggle was too much for him. Like he wanted things his way, and he did not want to allow Lane Kiffin to just continually do what he was doing. And so, because he decided that, this man had to deal with a new coordinator in the championship game. And then the next year, they decided, oh, well, you know what? Jalen Hurts isn't good enough. We're going to go to Tua over Jalen Hurts. When they did it, I went, oh, really? Why? Because Jalen Hurts doesn't care about statistics. Jalen Hurts doesn't care about what his stat line says at the end of the game. Jalen Hurts only cares about winning. And Jalen Hurts is willing to do whatever is necessary to win. But you have to give him that chance. You have to give him that opportunity. You have to give him that opportunity to get better. You have to give him that opportunity to continue to progress. And if you don't, then you're not going to see the fruits of the labor. So now we sit here with Jalen Hurts going to a championship game. Now you hear him going to a championship game, and everybody is going to have to eat crow. All of you people out there that decided, oh, well, you know, Jalen Hurts is only this. You even tried to diss him. By the way, there are people still in Philadelphia. Shame on you, Philly. Y'all supposed to be loyal, right? There are fans still in Philadelphia that don't believe in Jalen Hurts. Man, this man was 8 for 10 at one point. 8 for 10, 8 for 11 for 70-something yards. 8 for 10, 8 for 11, 70-something yards. And people were like, dudes were like, well, Jalen Hurts is playing an awful game. What you want this man to do? I thought y'all told us he's playing the best defense in the world. He's playing the 85 Bears. He's playing the Baltimore Ravens in their heyday. He's playing the Bucks when they won that first Super Bowl. He's playing those vaunted Dallas Cowboy defenses. I don't understand. You can't have it both ways, right? You can't say, oh, well, this is going to be a really tough test for Jalen Hurts. And then when it's a tough test for Jalen Hurts, go, well, Jalen Hurts is just not getting it done. What? So he does what he does. He runs the team. He stays cool under pressure. He just keeps churning. You got to give credit to Nick Sirianni and all of his crew for figuring out the adjustments to be made in order to win the game and then just doing what's necessary to win the game. Ladies and gentlemen, Jalen Hurts is in the Super Bowl after so many of you told us that he was not even good enough to be a starting quarterback. Oh, you thought people weren't going to keep receipts? I don't have to keep receipts because somebody out there is going to keep those receipts for me. Somebody out there is going to keep the receipts. I don't have to do it. That's the most beautiful thing about this. The idea that man had to go in the second round is ridiculous. The idea that man, after starting, 3 games, 4 games? After starting 4 games, that man had to then watch and go through an entire offseason where everybody mocked a quarterback to Philadelphia. Everybody who had a major platform mocked a quarterback to Philadelphia. While Jalen Hurts, after coming off 4 games where he was pretty successful, was there. Then he goes through another year where he gets them to the playoffs. By the way, he got them to the playoffs. People said it wasn't very successful. People said it was fluky. People said he still wasn't the man. They still mocked quarterbacks to Philadelphia in the offseason. Meanwhile, this year, Daniel Jones takes Chicago to the playoffs, and everybody believes he's worth $40 million now. Somebody make it make sense, but it doesn't matter. You're gonna have to back up the Brinks truck for Jalen Hurts now. Now you gotta pay him because he's only on a 4-year deal as a second-round pick. That means after next year, when you pimp him for one more year of work, where you're getting him at well below market price, now you got to pay him. Now you got to Russell Wilson him. You got to break him off. He's got to see 9 digits. He's got to see 9 digits at least in that contract. $40 million, of course you got to give him 40 plus million. Why? Because you're asking him to do so much. Sometimes he's your leading rusher, but he's always your quarterback. If people want to understand why you have to pay people like Jalen Hurts so much, it's the same reason you have to pay Josh Allen so much. Because if you're going to ask him to be an integral part of your running game, if you're going to ask him to put his body on the line to the point where he may not last the way Tom Brady lasted. Why? Because he takes hits, and this is football. You got to pay him. You got to pay him well. So congratulations to Jalen Hurts. Congratulations to the Philadelphia Eagles. You're going to the Super Bowl. I love to see it, but that's only one half of it, right? Because the greatest of all time is back. The greatest of all time is back. We have never seen anything like Patrick Mahomes. You people got to stop putting other quarterbacks on his level. He is going back for legacy. This is a legacy game for Patrick Mahomes. One could argue every game is a legacy game, but this is a legacy game for Patrick Mahomes. You got to remember what you're talking about here, right? This is a guy that since he has taken over as the quarterback of the Kansas City Chiefs, regardless of who's running the ball behind him, who's blocking in front of him, and who's catching passes outside, he has taken his team to the AFC Championship at least. And now, for the third time in 4 years, he's going to the Super Bowl. He's been starting for 4 years. This is his 5th year in the league. Is this his 5th year or 6th year? I can't remember. I think it's his 5th year. But if this is his 5th year, in the league, and he's been in a Super Bowl 4 times, he's been in a Super Bowl 3 times out of 5 years. Because his first year he didn't play. So the 4 years that he was under center, he started. 3 of those years they've been in the Super Bowl. Unanimous MVP. He'll probably be unanimous again this year, unless Jalen Hurts gets some love. But he'll probably be unanimous again. So 2-time unanimous MVP. All the stats. And you know why his stats get respected above guys like Matthew Stafford? Because his stats come with winning. Because his stats are the reason that the team is winning. Yo, you want to know what Patrick Mahomes did to that vaunted 49ers defense that everybody applauded as being one of the greatest defenses ever? You want to know what he did to that defense? A light 400 plus yards, 3 touchdowns. And that's with Tyreek Hill catching passes in Miami. That's with all of you telling us it was over for Patrick Mahomes. Yo, it's over for Patrick Mahomes. It's done. Tyreek Hill's gone to Miami. His deep threat is gone. Who else does he really have at receiver? They just got him a bunch of dudes and Travis Kelce. Well, that's the truth, right? Outside of Travis Kelce, they do not have an elite level wide receiver anywhere. Valdez Scantling Marquez Valdes-Scantling was a number 3. Right? A number 3 in Green Bay. Juju Smith-Schuster had one good season with the Steelers, and then he was a number 3 in Pittsburgh. That's why he wanted to leave. So he's got a bunch of number 3 and number 2 receivers. He doesn't have a number 1. And then he has Travis Kelce, who's probably the best tight end ever. At least the best receiving tight end ever. Right? So that's what he has. No longer does he have a 4-2-5, 4-3 burner who runs by everyone. And he stared and looked in the face with one leg. I might be a little bit hyperbolic right there. Man didn't have one leg. He was injured, but he wasn't that far gone, right? But he stood in there against this defense, and everybody said, "Oh, this defense, this Bengals defense." And then the same Bengals defense. Never mind. You know what? Okay. Stood and looked down the barrel. Did what was necessary to get the win versus a good team. Everybody wanted to elevate Joe Burrow to the same level as Patrick Mahomes, and Joe Burrow hasn't done what Patrick Mahomes has done. Now, full disclosure, I love me some Joe Burrow. I like Joe Burrow a lot, but he ain't Patrick Mahomes. And I said it before, I'll say it again. You got to stop putting these guys up before their time, because Joe Burrow lost that game yesterday. Nobody will say it. Everybody will blame this, and they'll blame some calls and things of the referees that didn't really actually matter in the end. All of the stuff that they called that really mattered were really legitimate things. They could have called holding on Cincinnati every single play. Those dudes could not block that D-line from Kansas City. But Joe Burrow lost that game. You cannot throw 2 interceptions, period, end. You cannot give the other team more possessions in the game. You can't throw 2 interceptions. It's on Joe Burrow. You won't blame him because y'all never blame the guy when the guy is supposed to be blamed unless he's black. It's just the truth. Anytime black quarterbacks don't get it done, you immediately blame them. People were still saying, "Oh, well, you know, the Bengals were able to beat Kansas City because, you know, Patrick Mahomes refuses to just run the ball. He refuses to just do the little things necessary in order to win. He always wants to make it about him." They were trying to diss Patrick Mahomes, and yet he just keeps coming. And every time they try to bring somebody to his level, Josh Allen to his level, no. Joe Burrow to his level, no. Justin Herbert to his level, no. No, they're not on him. You want to know what happens if they switch teams? You think this is a game? If both quarterbacks switch, you think that Joe Burrow can do what Patrick Mahomes does? Switch quarterbacks for teams and give Patrick Mahomes 3 number 1 wide receivers to throw to. 2 when the third number 1 wide receiver gets hurt. You think it's a game? Absolutely not. There's levels to this. And Patrick Mahomes is on a level all to himself. And now he gets to share the stage with Jalen Hurts, the first Super Bowl to ever feature 2 black starting quarterbacks. That's what we get. That's what we are privy to. You're welcome. You're welcome. It's the Soul Bowl 1. And guess what? You guys should get used to this. Not because Jalen Hurts and the Eagles are going to go every year, but because we are out here. And like Coach Prime has said, we coming. We're out here. Look around the league. Look at the faces that are underneath these helmets for many of these teams. Look at the faces that are coming. We're about to add 2 more, maybe even 3, maybe even 4 if people are smart. And as those teams that are a quarterback away, as those teams start adding these quarterbacks that look like me, it'll be Soul Bowl 2 and Soul Bowl 3 and Soul Bowl 4 and so on and so forth. And every single time it happens, I am going to point it out. Because if we don't celebrate us, who will? If we don't make it about us, who will? See, Hurts and Mahomes, they're going to say the right things. They're going to say the right things because that's what they do. They're good dudes. They're going to say the right things, quote unquote, right? And the right things are the things that are said to make it about the team and not about yourself. So I have to be here as the microphone for them to stunt, for them to talk their ish. They have to use me as a vessel. And I hope this week when they have a chance to speak that they give an audience to more of those creators, more of those content people that look like them. I hope so. Because that's how we advance the cause. I am extremely excited that this is going to be my first Super Bowl that I will be at. This will be the first Super Bowl that I'll be at. The first time that I'll have boots on the soil. Well, Super Bowl week, I'll be there. I'll be there. And I cannot wait to talk to you more about this game. By the way, there's so many juicy storylines in this game. You got the Kelsey face-off, right? That should be fun. You got Soul Bowl 1, right? That's going to be fun. You got the Andy Reid Bowl, his former team, the team that decided it was time for him to move on versus the team that he landed at. Imagine if Philadelphia just said, hey, you know what, Andy Reid, just keep rocking. It wasn't like he fell off. They just wanted a different voice. Andy Reid said, word, cool, I'll go over here and do the same thing. It's a beautiful thing. And I will be there to give it to you starting on Thursday morning of next week. Thursday morning of next week, I will be live from Phoenix. You should be ready for it. Ladies and gentlemen, that's Talk Spicy. I'm Coach Gene Clemens. You do this thing a few times a week. Rate the show, comment, agree, disagree, but whatever you do, keep it spicy. 5-star ratings are appreciated. And if you're joining me on the YouTube channel, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe. Until next time, peace.